Hello and welcome to the Business of Meeting podcast. I'm your host, Eric Rozenberg. Over the years, I've had the privilege of helping businesses in the meetings and event industry grow and succeed. And I'm excited to share that experience with you. If you feel alone and overwhelmed, and if you're looking to take your business to the next level, improve your strategy and sales, and connect with like minded professionals, you are in the right place. I invite you to visit eventbusinessformula.com and join our community of event business owners dedicated to exponential growth. Now, let's dive into today's episode.
Hi everyone. Well, today it's a special episode podcast. I like everyone watching what's going on in LA with all the fires. I just thought I wanted to share some thought on that and hopefully contribute to a little bit of resilience. But we all devastated by the situation there. We see what's going on, and we all have friends that have lost their home or they had to evacuate, and that happened. And as I'm recording today, Tuesday, January 14, it's as far from being over. And of course, we all have a story of related to LA. My story with LA, the first one was when I was 14 years old, and my parents sent me to one of my father's cousin who lives in LA, Bertha Shapira, and her husband, late husband, Martin, and two sons, Barry and Victor and Barry. And I spent several weeks there, not knowing a word of English, and actually buying the album from Billy Joel, 52nd Street. That's how I learned English. Was little English I can speak today. Then I was thinking about that, and then I read a quote that was shared by one of my Krav Maga instructor, Monica Bondar, and the post said, Keanu Reeves once said, "Pain changes shape, but it never disappears. You can't control what hurts or breaks you, but you can control how you choose to move forward. Fight for what you love, because no one else will do it for you. Every moment in your life is an opportunity to change who you are. Don't define yourself by what you lost, but by what you do with what's left. Don't define yourself by what you lost, but what you do with what's left." And that made me think about resilience. And I was thinking, what can I do? Of course, we forward some funds and making ourselves and our home available if need be. The industry is joining forces. I know LACVB is supporting the Red Cross and all the organization, NPI, PCMA, DI are coming together and trying to help, as unfortunately is always the case when we have so many different things happening in the world. And then I was thinking about stories of resilience, stories about those first responders and how they were amazing and are amazing, and the people that are flying those planes, taking the water, trying to help. It's highly commendable. Then in the meantime, I look at the picture and honestly made me think of Hiroshima when I first saw the picture of Pacific Palisades, everything that destroyed. And I talked about people who lost someone. And if you're in this case, if you have to grieve, not related specifically to LA, of course, but in general, I highly recommend to read the book from my friend Sherry Walling, Touching Two Worlds. And I thought about the natural disaster, whether it's the hurricane in Asheville, North Carolina, what happened in Lahaina, wildfire in Maui, the Hurricane Milton around Tampa Bay last year. And I thought about the Islamist terrorist attack that every time, whether it was the Christmas market in Germany or New Orleans, beginning of the year, there's so many things happening that we cannot control and we have to face, and we have to be resilient. And God knows how resilient our industry is. But then I also thought about outstanding individuals, inspiring individuals. Like Nelson Mandela, for instance, spent 27 years in prison in Robben Island off the coast of Cape Town in South Africa. before becoming president of South Africa. And there's so many stories about him, but one that really struck with me, it was really somebody unifying people. And he had all the reasons not to be very bitter. But when he got the first day, there's a story that when he got the first day in the presidential palace, the head of the security came and gave him his resignation. And President Mandela looked at him and said, "Why are you doing this?" And he said, "Well, I suppose, we were the previous regime." And apparently Nelson Mandela looked at him and said, "Listen, you were good enough to protect the former president. You'll be good enough to protect me." And then there's so many stories about him. But although there's so many outstanding individuals, I was thinking also of Bethany Hamilton, a professional surfer. She lost her left arm in a shark attack when she was 13. Guess what? A few months later, she was back surfing and became a world-class surfer. Or somebody like J.K. Rowling. I think when she wrote Harry Potter, she had to go to, I think, 12th publishing house that refused her first manuscript. And that led me to think about our industry. That led me to think about what we're doing as entrepreneurs, as small business owners, and how, when you are an entrepreneur, you have to you're taking risk, and you have to be resilient, and things are again happening that you can control. The stories of entrepreneurs who run out of cash, for instance, and ended up with a gigantic success, like Elon Musk, that Tesla was going to lose money, or I don't know how many times he had to fail with SpaceX before what it is today, or somebody like Jeff Bezos for Amazon. It's fascinating to hear their story and how they started and how resilient they had to be. And I thought also about this movie, The Pursuit of Happiness, which is telling the story of Chris Gardner, who's played by Will Smith, that had to raise a son, was homeless, and then went into trading and build an amazing company. There's so many stories, but I think the most important one for all of us, of course, besides the disaster and what's happening today in LA, but the most important for all of us, that all of us were really impacted, is with the pandemic. And if you think about it, how resilient we were and how we didn't have any choice. And that's where really I'm looking at when something happened. I'm not trying to look at few months, few years down the road, why I'm doing what I'm doing, what I'm focusing on. That's something that's probably typical as an entrepreneur. But I strongly encourage anyone in our industry that has a small business to think about what you want to accomplish, so that you can come back to it when those catastrophes are happening. And trust me, I don't wish anyone to have to go through that. And again, there's so many stories that we had to face with. We have to keep on focusing on the business. I have a friend with an amazing career in a very large group in our industry, and someone very close to him, one of his child, had to go through many surgeries over the years, and nevertheless, he had to keep on focusing on his business and being there for his family. I guess it's only when we are confronted to a tough situation that we discover how resilient we could be. And make me think of my wife's grandmother, her late grandmother. She always said, "God protect us from having to experience things that we don't know today that we would be able to endure." And there, looking at what's happening today and what we can be doing in the future, I always coming back to the basics. And I just want to share with you one poem, which I think it's very appropriate for today. And I want to finish with that. But it's a poem that's been written, I don't know how many years, centuries ago. It was written by Rudyard Kipling. And if you know this poem, you know already that it's the title is "If." And if you don't know this poem, I strongly suggest that you download it. And I just want to read it to you because that's the most appropriate thing that I'm thinking of right now in terms of resilience. If you can keep your head when all about you are losing theirs and blaming it on you. If you can trust yourself when all men doubt you, but make allowance for their doubting too. If you can wait and not be tired by waiting or being lied about, don't deal in lies, or being hated, don't give way to hating, and yet don't look too good, nor talk too wise. If you can dream and not make dreams your master, if you can think and not make thought your aim, if you can meet with triumph and disaster and treat those two impostors just the same, if you can bear to hear the truth you've spoken, twisted by knives to make a trap fools, or watch the things you gave your life to broken and stoop and build them up with worn out tools. If you can make one heap of all your winnings and risk it on one turn of pitch and toss, and lose and start again at your beginnings and never breathe a word about your loss. If you can force your heart and nerve and sinew to serve your turn long after they're gone, and so hold on when there is nothing in you except the will which says to them, hold on. If you can talk with crowds and keep your virtue, or walk with kings, nor lose the common touch. If neither fools nor loving friends can hurt you, if all men count with you, but none too much, if you can feel the unforgiving minute with 60 seconds worth of distance run, yours is the earth and everything that's in it, and which is more. You'll be a man, my son. I'm thinking about our friends in LA. I'm thinking about our friends in New Orleans. I'm thinking about the hostages in Gaza. I'm thinking about people that are facing very, very tough hardship and keep walking. And as Winston Churchill said, if you go through hell, keep walking. I'm talking about all those people, but I'm also thinking about all those examples of resilience. We are one of the greatest, if not the greatest industry, because we bring people together, and we are definitely the most resilient industry. Love to LA, and I look forward to seeing you soon in one of our industry conference. Thank you.
Thank you for tuning in to the Business of Meeting podcast. I hope you found today's episode valuable. If you enjoyed the show, the most important thing you can do is leave a review and share it with your colleagues. It really helps spread the word. I truly appreciate your support. And if you're ready to take your business to the next level, don't forget to visit eventbusinessformula.com to learn more about how we are helping even business owners like you. Thanks again for listening, and I'll see you next time.